Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Leo, October 16th to the 30th, 2021, Leo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, okay. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At the bottom, we have the mage, the magician. So as above, so below, as we think it, so it becomes. And then we have temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. If we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. In our inner self, we have the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands, which is beautiful. We have the Two of Wands, again, fire sign energy coming through. The Two of Fire, the Two of Wands. And we have the Craftsman of Fire. So fire sign energy, we are represented by fire sign energy within the zodiac. We're fire sign energies. We're represented by the wands in the minor arcana by the fire sign energy here within the witch's wisdom deck. So we're coming through as craftsmen, we're coming through as creators, forgers, innovators, and that's a really great thing. What we are creating brings us health and harmony and peace, and brings us something that we really do love. We then have the Eight of Cups coming up. In our hearts, we're walking away from something we once thought we would love. And it moves us to the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is, and they all live happily ever after type of deal. So that's absolutely beautiful. We have the Ace of Swords cutting through doubts, fears, negativities, hurts, and pains, really finding our voice and being able to claim our voice. We then have the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is a wish being granted. It's power coming forward. It's us finally stepping into our own power. And, that might sound funny for us to say as a Leo, that we're finally stepping into our own power. But it's such a tricky road. And people don't always get it, because we'll have this bravado, we'll have this sense of, yeah, I got this, yeah, I understand this, yes, I'm fierce and independent and strong and absolutely capable. But then there's this need for vulnerability and softness and insecurity and upset, and we don't always feel as strong as we project ourselves to be, or sometimes we don't realize that we're projecting ourselves to be so strong. So here, there's this beautiful crafting of what we love around us during this time, this cutting through doubts and fears, and really finding our voice and finding where we want to stand. So let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. So we have the Queen of Swords. This is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. This is knowing that we're kind of going to get bombarded with that, with vicious, nasty words, with hurtful, hateful statements. And this could be done on purpose. This could be done out of ignorance. This could be, just something that somebody says in passing, and we take it very personally because it's around one of our wounds. And so here with the Queen of Swords, we're really starting to step into the power of our voice, but we also have to be mindful of the harshness and the causticness of our words. We're going to very much, kind of the Cher song, words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. We're very much going to see that within our life, within what we love, within the way that we're moving forward. And then we're going to start questioning, am I doing the right thing? Am I moving forward the right way? Or we're going to start using our own words as weapons to kind of make a barrier between us and the rest of the world. So do be mindful of that during this time. It moves us then to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. It's dreams. Now, this is the third eye chakra, and there is a sense here that a lot is revealed to us through our dreams. That if we listen to our inner self, if we listen to our inner balance, our insights, our desires, we're going to start to see the world opening. We're going to start to see us opening. But we can't forget about our dreams, what we really want, what we're really working for, where we truly want to be within our lives. And as we start to see this, as we start to claim this, as we start to say this, we start to see, claim, and see ourselves in a very powerful way, in a very open way. Know that Spirit is going to be talking to us through our dreams, through our daydreams, through the places where our mind wanders. We're going to find that we can like to kind of dive into a dream, dive into a book or a movie or whatever it is, our form of escapism. And that's going to be where our soul is at this time. It's kind of like, this is what I want to let into my life. This is what I want to embrace within my world. So let's start talking about the astrology aspect of this time before we dive into the tarot. On the 16th of October, we start this time frame from the 16th to the 30th with Mercury sextile Venus. Now, this is the beautiful energy that we all need. Mercury is controlling our communication, Venus is ruling our love, and we have this wonderful social aspect to ourselves during this time. We have this sense of embracing our hearts and our pleasure and what we truly love and what's truly beautiful to be around us. This is not a day for fighting. This is not a day for arguing or nitpicking. This is a day for enjoyment. This is a day maybe even for a little self-indulgence. This is a day for romance or to embrace just love within our hearts. Now, on the 17th of October, the sun is going to be squared Pluto. So all the warm fuzzies, that Mercury sextile Venus brings are kind of a little bit out the window right now. And we say hello to the intensity that we've become used to. We need to be mindful of our egos and the fact that our egos can absolutely get in the way during this time. We need to draw on our own intensity, our own instincts, our own sense of, okay, what do I need? What do I want? Who am I? What is it that I love? If we want to get ahead, we need to look at, okay, how do I need to align me? Not what do I need to do to combat anybody else, but what do I need to align me for my future, for what I want, for what I need. And it's not selfish. It's just being very practical during this time. Again, we have to kind of like put our ego on the back burner and say, all right, what is it that needs to be done right now, right here? We need to focus on this intensity. We need to stay calm, because if we focus on our intensity, if we focus on our laser-like focus during this time, we can become unstoppable. If we don't, this can just feel like we're frustrated, like we're not getting to that place that we want to be. On the 18th of October, not the 8th, the 18th, there we go, of October, we have a couple planetary alignments coming. We have a few planets coming out of retrograde, and we have another planetary alignment. So we start off with Jupiter direct. Now, when Jupiter goes into retrograde, which it did in June, we are given this 4-month period of our spiritual and inner needs being put in front of us, what we need to conquer, what we need to understand spiritually and inwardly, emotionally for ourselves. This is a time of seeing harsh truths, of being really honest, of, stating some things or looking at some aspects of ourselves that we rather just like kind of sweep under the carpet and say, oh, I don't see that. I'm just perfect. Everything's just fine. And so as Jupiter comes direct, now we are going to see everything that we learned about the insecurities, about the missteps, the harshness, the hurts that we have been through. And we start to embrace with courage and insight what we need in order to succeed and how we need to go after what it is that we want. We've learned so much during this time, even if it feels like we've just been stumbling, we've just been, frustrated, we've been overwhelmed. And it's like, yeah, of course you have, because that's how Jupiter direct teaches us. And I actually think quite firmly that that's how the world teaches us. It's not that we get what we want, where we learn anything. It's when we get what we don't want. It's kind of like when you're with a little kid and you say, okay, if you act good, you can get a prize at the end. And if you don't act good, you don't. And they don't act good and they leave without their prize. They leave without like their apple or their orange or whatever the heck the prize is. And that teaches them, that there's consequences. And so here, just like not getting our prize, when we stumble, when we fall, when we don't feel like we've achieved exactly what it is that we had wanted to achieve in that time period, we start to say, oh, I see me. I see what I need to elevate within me. I see what it is that I need to change in order to move myself to the place that I want to be, to the power and the intensity that I want to have. Now, Mercury comes direct at this time, also on the 18th of October. Now, remember, as Mercury comes direct, we have a shadow period, which lasts from the 18th of October to the 2nd of November. So here, we also have to be very mindful of the star alignment as Mercury goes direct. So we have that energy of coming out of this communication nightmare, right? This sense of things not working and moving forward the way that we had thought they would. And as we're coming out of this communication nightmare, there's still just a little bit of a tinge of this coming on. But because of the star alignment, things get intense. We need to keep a positive mindset, positive energy vibration. We need to take care of ourselves, make sure that we're sleeping enough, make sure that we're eating right. If we don't, the fixed star Vinda Matrix, it just comes for us. It really does. It just doesn't hold anything back and says, that's it. I'm tackling you. I'm, putting you in your place. And it does so with melancholy, impatience, and rash decisions. It does so by making us feel like there's no joy. There's no joy, there's no happiness. There's a sense of either I act now or everything's just destroyed. And that's what we need to step back from. That's what we need to be mindful of. Vinda Matrix comes into our lives, and Vinda Matrix has us making bad decisions. If we're in that negative space, if we're tired, if we're overwhelmed, we can find ourselves just kind of, our default emotional base will be spitefulness, will be vengeful, will be hurtful. And we have to be mindful of this. We're also going to be very drawn to the macabre aspect of life, the darker, kind of seedier underbelly of everything, the things that aren't savory at all. And this could be through watching true crime. This could be through, whatever it is, like murder mysteries, true crime, horror films, books, whatever it is that we get this kind of seedier side of life from, this very low energy vibration, this hurtful, hateful world. We have to be mindful of it, because if we start to open the door, even just a little bit, if we start to open the door to it, we don't get to have the brilliance that we want. Okay, it's going to bring us down, and it's going to be like a spiral really, really, really intensely. So do be mindful of that. Now, we also have the fixed star Parima coming into play. And this star, if we don't come to this energy again with a high energy vibration, this makes us astoundingly nihilistic. It makes us think everything that we've worked for is for nothing. It makes us think that, we're never going to get to that place that we want to be. Why even bother? So be mindful of that, because if we come with a higher energy vibration, all of a sudden it's like, wow, a veil's been lifted from our eyes. We see the underhandedness of other people. We see the deceit, the dishonesty, and we're like, you know what? I see you for who you are, and I'm not falling down this road. I'm not being pulled into your mess and your muck and your mire. I am rising above. And that gives us this superpower, because we can call people out and be really spot on. Mars is going to be trine Jupiter on the 18th of October as well. And so this brings us success and has us moving forward with strength and confidence And there's this sense of our sensual energy really coming to the forefront and our creative energy really coming to the forefront. Focus on our sacral chakra during this time. Focus on our creative energy of what we love, what we long for within our life, with our own sensuality. Luck is on our side. Beauty is on our side. Embrace it. On the 20th of October, we have the Hunter's full moon in Aries. This has been known to be a sacred moon for many cultures, and we'll get into that in another reading. On the 22nd of October, Mars is squared Pluto. We are set to achieve our potential and increase our own power. We are driven, we are determined, and the energy here is just abundant. We are going to see that this is time to get the job done. This is the time to go after what it is that we want. Our tempers are a bit hot, and we're going to be a little bit argumentative and a little bit short with people not seeing things exactly the way that we're seeing things. And we kind of have to step back from that energy and say, okay, let me make sure I'm communicating it okay. Let me make sure that, people are seeing the vision that I have. And if people can't see the vision that I have, maybe I need to step back and just embrace what I'm seeing, what I desire, what I want, what I need. And again, it's not in a selfish way. It's just knowing that what I'm seeing, what I'm embracing here, it's for me. It's like what I'm crafting here in my inner self is for me. Now, on the 26th of October, we have to be mindful of Venus squared Neptune, because this can be a very tricky time. We're going to come to this date not with the self-love and the self-confidence that we want to. It's going to be a time where it's hard to remember why we love ourselves. It's hard to recognize our worth. It's hard to embrace our hearts, and souls, and say, you can absolutely do it. This is a time of sensitivity, of having to remember and remind ourselves that we matter. Writing it, on our mirror in, erase marker would be a great idea, or little kids marker, the Crayola ones that you can just wipe off with water. That would be awesome to just say, I matter. I count. I'm here. I've shown up. There's brilliance. There's beauty to me. And I might not remember this every single day, but it's a powerful and integral part of who I am. The fact that I love me, the fact that I live in this body, the fact that I am my soul, myself, and what I desire. We can clear out the negative energy by burning sage, by, focusing on our heart chakra, by doing these things to get us out of our own heads and really step into our bodies. We can even do the Wim Hof method of turning on the cold water and stepping under ice cold water and just making ourselves focus in this moment, which could be a really good thing. It could also not be. So, do it with that as you may. But we have to remember here that we matter, that we count, that we're showing up for ourselves. Now, the good thing is that on the 28th of October, we have Venus sextile Jupiter. So this washes away the doubtful, fearful, negative energy of Venus squared Neptune. But we do, again, remember, between the 26th and the 28th is the 27th. So we still have a day, not only just the 26th, but we have a second day where we're not going to feel as steady on our feet as we want to, because we're going to have that energy of Venus squared Neptune coming into play. It's going to be tampered because we're stepping into the Venus sextile Jupiter, which again washes away our doubts and our fears. It has us remembering that we are loved, that we are worth it. This is a balancing time for us. This is a time that shows us, that we can go on that adventure, that we can take those steps forward, that we're not held back, that we're not denied, that we're not, silenced in any way, shape, or form. This is a great time to indulge ourselves. This is a great time to, embrace what we love, but remember to not be overindulgent, because we can have a tendency towards that. On the 30th of October, the Sun is squared Saturn. And this is such an interesting day to end on, because here we are given the challenges that hone our own insecurities, meaning that what comes to us this day is meant to kind of knock us a little bit for a loop, because it's going to be in the aspect of our lives that we usually run away from. We're like, you know what? No, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not doing this. I can't do this. I don't want this. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gone. So this is a time to show us how far we've come, and to show others how far we've come, because it's taking those insecurities that, again, we would usually just run away from and saying, no, I'm facing this. No, I'm seeing me. No, I'm seeing how far I've come to be able to say, look at me, look what I've achieved. Look at how I've moved forward. This is a perfect time for late bloomers. This is a perfect time for those of us who have forgotten our worth. This is the time to say, this is my power. This is my brilliance. This is me. And again, for those of us who are late bloomers, it's not saying I didn't achieve this in this time or in this time or in this time, so therefore it will never happen. It's like, no, I get to have my life the way that I love it, the way that I want it. It may be different than I imagined when I was 15 years old, but life always is. And so here we start to say, wow, look at what has held me back, but look at what I have learned. And as we do this, we start to see ourselves rising up. We start to see ourselves standing before the altar of our existence at our very root and saying, what I believe is what I achieve. Because if I cannot think it, if I cannot imagine it, if I cannot, put it into my sphere of thought and being, then it can never be. Have you ever wondered why some people who aren't that talented are super successful and other people who are super talented aren't? That's because one person, now they could have gotten handouts and, help along the way. But if you had them starting at an equal playing field, or playing point, what you will see is the one who succeeds believes that they will succeed. And that's a huge part of this game. And it's not believing that we will succeed on foolish things or, not really thinking things through. It's making a plan. It's looking at everything. It's setting things out and saying, this is where my skills lie. This is where my passion and my intuition and my fire lies. This is what I get to embrace. This is how I'm moving forward. And as we stand before the altar of our existence, as we go after what we want and who we are, we realize that by having a negative mindset, by doubting ourselves, by having the hateful, hurtful words of people in our past come forward, or people even in past lives, come forward. Because we could say, I don't know why I have this fear around XYZ. I don't know why I can't move forward the way that I want to. I had, loving parents. I grew up in a great, house. Everything was perfect. Everything, was moving forward exactly the way that it should be. And yet I got stuck. Why? And that happens to people. So everybody has their challenges. Everybody has their hurts and their pains and their disappointments. We have to see them. We have to call ourselves out with it. And we have to say, I'm standing here, embracing my elemental power, embracing my passion, embracing my steadfastness, embracing my creativity, embracing my heart, embracing my emotions, and knowing that as I do so, I embrace me. I am empowered by me. And it moves us to temperance. Sometimes we have to be fierce, Leo, but sometimes we get to be small and gentle, or at least small and cute, just not as much of a threat. Though, of course, I do know that mice cause huge threats to things. So during this time, we're going to be embracing the fierceness of us, but we're also going to be embracing the sweetness of us. We're going to be seeing that sometimes we have to be big and sometimes we can be small and just as fierce. And there's going to be this sense here of finding this balance between the way that we're moving forward and where it is that we want to be and who it is that we are and who it is that everybody else wants us to be. And that's where we start to become the craftsman in our inner self, where we start to see ourselves forging. This is going to be a time that we are forged. This is going to be a time that a lot of the negativity, the hurt, the pain, the disappointment, the anger, the upset is hammered out of us. That we're going to find that our weak spots, we kind of go after them during this time. Why? Because we want to be at a better place by the end of this. We want to be in a stronger, fiercer, more open, more honest place for ourselves and what we desire. We're hammering out the imperfections, meaning that we're looking at where things aren't aligning and we're saying, okay, this needs a little bit more attention. This needs, a little bit more fire, a little bit more passion, a little bit more understanding from me. Now we have to be mindful to give that understanding with love and compassion and just not with, how could you be so stupid? Just keep moving, just keep going. We need to embrace our hearts. We need to embrace our souls. We need to embrace ourselves. And that's going to be really important. We're also going to see, again, that we're forging out so many of the imperfections within us. And it's not saying that we're going to get rid of all of them, because imperfections are what makes us human. What we are going to be doing is we are going to be alleviating a lot of the hurt and the pain that we've been carrying with us. It's going to be burnt away. It's going to be forged away. It's going to be the healing, intense fires that come forward, which bring us to this place of healing, which brings us to this place of new adventures to gain an understanding of. It brings us to this place that we hadn't thought we could be. We didn't think that there could be more here than meets the eye. And yet there really is. Because what we do as we're forging, what we do as we're moving ourselves forward, what we do as we say, you know what, I'm not stuck in this box, I'm not stuck in this world, I'm opening up the door. And it brings us to the Four of Fire. It brings us to passion. It brings us to creativity. It brings us to new job opportunities, new intensity, new insight for ourselves and what we want. We start to see that we can have fun, we can play, we can laugh, we can stand right by the divinity and feel at home and feel comfortable. There is a power and a brilliance to our voice. There is a power and a brilliance to ourselves. The Four of Wands is the minor arcana marriage card. What are we married to? Not who are we married to, but what are we married to? What are we committed to within our hearts, within our souls, within ourselves? What is it that if we walked away from this aspect of ourselves, we would walk away from who we innately and beautifully are? It moves us to the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups says that I'm walking away from what I no longer love. I loved it once. It fit me once, but it doesn't fit anymore. And I always equate this to a pair of shoes, because if you've ever walked in shoes that are too small, it is so painful. It is just so painful that, you don't forget it often. So here we have ourselves walking away from something that doesn't fit us anymore, and that we tried to make fit. And that was just painful because of that, because we tried and we couldn't be what it expected us to be. We couldn't move forward the way that we needed to. We couldn't go after what it is that we desired because we were so busy trying to make one thing work that didn't work anymore. And now it is time for us to say there's power and brilliance with me moving forward, with my heart releasing what it needs to release. Now, this could be a divorce card. This could be an end of a relationship, an end of a job. This is a big thing that we are ending. Now, for some of us, it's going to be something small, but it has big ramifications within our heart. It means more to us than we realized it did, than we thought it would when we walked away. And so here, with the Eight of Cups, we're going to see ourselves ending something that frees us. That absolutely frees us. You know how sometimes when you end a relationship and you're like, wow, that's going to be so hard, it's going to be so terrible, and then you have a good cry about it, and then you're like, this was the best thing I ever did. I don't know why I didn't want to step away. And so here, or that job that was just abusive and the person was yelling at us and, beating us down, and we thought, wow, I can't get a job that pays as good as this, or I can't, I'm not worth more than this. And then when we finally stand up for ourselves, it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? That's what the Eight of Cups is. It's like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I free myself? Why didn't I embrace my heart and my joy sooner? And it brings us then to the Ten of Cups. It brings us to happiness. Now, happiness is different for everybody, even though it's this catch-all word. Happiness is for the individual. What would make me brilliantly happy might not make you brilliantly happy, and that's okay. What we're finding here is that our happiness matters. Our joy gets to move us forward. This card always reminds me of an old Nordic saying, which says, better to be king of a cottage than servant in a castle. And this is a time to realize, what is it that I need? What is it that I value? What is it that I want? What is it that makes me happy and excited and just joyous within my life? And how do I move forward with that energy, with that beauty, with that love? How do I embrace what I love? And how do I call love into my existence? The Ace of Swords in the public arena, we're not taking anybody's bull, and we don't want to. We're cutting through doubts, fears, and negativity. Again, God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing us this gift, handing us this insight, handing us these ideas. We cut through what we don't want. We're cutting through the silence within our own voice. We're starting to say, yes, I can, instead of no, I can't. We're starting to say why not instead of why. And we're starting to push ourselves forward with a brilliant determination that we had forgotten inspired us or moved us forward or was a part of us. This is a time also where we start to embrace the power of our voice, embrace the power of our mind, embrace the power of the weapon that we were given in our voice, in our mind, in our, cognitive verbal abilities to move ourselves forward, to go after what it is that we want, to think and to express ourselves. And it brings us then to the Nine of Cups. It brings us to wishes coming true. It brings us to joy and happiness and success. And I love that we have here 8, 9, and 10 of cups, this beautiful progression towards what we love, towards what we want. And in the public arena, we're going to see that it's towards what we wish for. It's towards what we've longed for a really long time. And we could have even given up on it along the way, thought, no, I can't do this. I can't have this. And what we're going to see here is like, yes, I can. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can have this. There's more here than meets the eye. There's more to me than I undersold myself for so long. And we might be looking at other people and thinking, well, they made it at this age. They made it at that age. Look at what they have. Look at how happy they are. First of all, you never know what life is like behind closed doors. And that's something that's hard to understand. Because when somebody appears to just be so happy, you think, oh my gosh, they're happy, because we believe what we see as sight hunters. But that's not always the case. And what we also have to remember is one person's happiness might not be ours. And so as we embrace our happiness and our love, we don't say that it has to follow this time frame. We don't say that it has to be, in just this certain way. We say to divinity, I'm speaking what I want. I'm putting it into words, what I want and what I love and how I express myself and where I need to be. And as I do so, I embrace me. I embrace me openly and honestly every single day. I am empowered, I am emboldened, and I move forward towards what I want, towards what I need, and towards what I deserve within my life. And happiness is one of those things. It doesn't mean that we get to have, yachts and mansions and multiple houses. It means that we get to be contented. We get to be able to pay our bills. We get to be safe. And that's what we're moving towards here. This sense of being safe in the world that we create. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Freyalt. So that this is temperance energy coming through. We have it here at our root, and here we have it as something to be mindful of. Be mindful of things not always being in balance the way that we want them to be, or people hiding things from us, and us feeling as if we've been blindsided. So here with temperance, with balance, with insight, with understanding, it's also going to be used as a bit of a weapon. So we have to be mindful of this. And we're also going to have to be mindful of what we are keeping to ourselves that isn't bringing the harmonious balance forward. Our subconscious. There could be pettiness. Like, I just see that as pettiness, the Freyalt here coming in, the balance. It's like there's not balance because there's too much pettiness. There's too much anger. There's too much, hurt or pain. In some avenue of life. It could be at work, it could be with a coworker, it could be at home, wherever it is. It's just like there's this little tit for tat going on, and we need to step back from it and say, this isn't helping me, this is childish. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is relationships, and this is the sacral chakra. So we are embracing our sacral chakra, we're embracing the relationships we have with others, but we're also embracing the relationship that we have with ourselves, our heart and our passion, our soul, and what we desire. And we're also understanding that it's complex. Our sacral chakra holds our central energy, it holds our creative energy, it holds the drama that we have from this life and past lives. And so nothing is going to be as straightforward as we would like it to be. And that's okay. That really is. We're not going to think it's okay. And yet we're going to find that our relationships are stronger because everything isn't perfect, because we are sharing our own complexity. Our subconscious rooted message is the death card, Scorpio energy, a dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. We're not coming out of this the same person we went into this time period as. We are a little bit wiser. We're a little bit stronger. We are definitely more determined, more focused, more insightful. And this is going to be a time where we see ourselves shedding a cloak, shedding misconceptions, shedding doubts and fears and hurts and pains, and stepping into a new world, a new self, a new sense of what we really want from life. It moves us then to our subconscious inner self. And this is the 8 of Earth, and the 8 of Pentacles, prosperity and success and bounty, hard work paying off. This is also seeing what we are creating, seeing what we've worked so hard for. And we usually think about this as like, okay, excuse me, I've worked so hard to embrace this task, or, to become an expert at this or at that. But what about the trials and tribulations that have been thrown in our path, in our lives? Lessons that we have learned, like don't be so trusting, or lessons that we have learned with, watch your money, watch your prosperity, watch what's important to you, what you've created. this is going to be a time where we see those lessons coming forward, and we're going to see the accumulation of everything that we've learned, everything that we've been through, everything that we've had to gain an understanding of, really stepping into and embodying our lives. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And this is the Knight of Wands. This is us coming through again. The knight, the warrior, moving forward, doubts and fears, charging ahead and saying, yes, I can. We need to understand that our hearts need a little bit of time. We're walking away from something. We're healing. We're embracing what we love. We're going to want to just charge forward and say, you know what, enough with the emotional, mumbo jumbo stuff. I just need action. I need things to get done. But we need to embrace our hearts. We need to embrace sometimes things that aren't always as clear to us as we would like them to be. And as we do this, we find ourselves charging forward towards what we love, what we want, but we have to be mindful not to be rash, not to be, overly aggressive within things, because that could be a tendency of ours. It then moves us to our subconscious public arena self, and it's the Six of Cups, memories. We have to be very mindful not to live in the past, not to live in past hurts and past pains, but also past blessings and past triumphs. What we have to be very proactive in is embracing the now, embracing the here, and understanding that the past, it colors our present, and our hopes for the future color our present. But we can't let it take over, coloring everything. We can't let it take all the crayons away from us. We need to stand in our power of where we are right now, of what we are discovering, of what we are learning, and understand that the present is as important, or if not more so important, than the past and the future. The future has yet to happen. It's all make-believe. And the past, well, that's all pain, because it can never be lived again. No matter how beautiful the day, no matter how wonderful it was, it's done. It's over. And so the present, that's going to be where a lot is held. Where if we look at things openly and honestly, day to day, and say, I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm intense, I'm focused, it guides us. It guides us in a way that we couldn't possibly imagine. All right, Leo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the complexity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo.